What's up YouTube, it's the Federation here, and I'm bringing another battle to you. It's going to be Attila again, and this is myself playing as the Burgundians versus Loki of the Agony clan, so his name is Agony Loki, playing as the Saxons. And I think what this battle demonstrates is the importance of bringing the meta build, because I would consider myself an incredibly inexperienced and not good at all player for Attila. My opponent is in the Agony clan, and although I haven't heard his specific name before, I do know that to get into Agony you have to be a very skilled Total War player. And so I'm going to assume that my opponent is at a pretty high level. Then again, I could be wrong. Maybe he got in for a different Total War game and he is just recently coming back, similar to the position I'm in. But just for the purposes of making my point, I'm going to assume that he's good. But anyways, what he's going to start doing is a pretty interesting strategy I've seen a few times in tournaments used before. He's going to shift over from his right to his left. And what this forces me to do is either stay stationary and allow this flank to be overwhelmed, or just kind of rotate. And I'm going to go for that, because I realize that this group of units is pretty exposed right now, and I also really need the drawing tools on. I should figure that out eventually. Oh well. Anyways, this group of units is pretty exposed since all of his cavalry is now in this half of the field, and these guys are kind of left out. So he could potentially overwhelm me, so I'm just going to draw it back. I'm going to start to rotate. My Germanic archers have a significantly longer range, but through his good rotation and my poor micromanagement, I've allowed him to get within range with his much cheaper Nordic bows. So this is not going to be too great for me. But anyways, my kind of general strategy here, I mean, I've got the meta build, and he certainly hasn't. He's relying on these Nordic horse lords, which are much less cost effective than Germanic horse, and so cannot be considered the meta. He's also put a lot of money into these Hearth Guards, and then I think he's got 2 heroic cavalry. So anyways, my build is significantly stronger, and so my strategy here, I just have to kind of not make a mistake, because if I play this kind of conservatively, I should win. And so that's what I'm doing over on my right flank, is I'm just going to kind of pull back and make sure that I get an engagement that's about 50-50, because in a 50-50 engagement, my build is going to absolutely overrun his. I've got these Royal Lancers, and with their bonus versus large, as well as their massive charge bonus. Provided I don't mess it up, these guys are going to be deadly. These barbed skirmishers are incredibly unit, as you will see in this battle. Absolutely tear through cavalry and infantry. I believe they cost about 500, and the amount of damage they can do is pretty insane. So anyways, the skirmishing is going to start going down here. He's throwing in some shots with his Nordic bows. I'm returning some fire. And this probably isn't a very cost-effective exchange for me. My guys aren't in as thin lines as they could be, just for the simple reason that I need to keep them behind these Germanic pikes. But anyways, I'm going to see this overload that I was discussing earlier is beginning to happen. He's shifting everybody over, and he's beginning to get engagements. So I realize that I need help, and I send over 2 Germanic swords. I'm going to do a quick bait and switch here, where I pull back these 2 Germanic horse, get a charge, and unlike in Rome 2, where this would have stopped his 2 cavalry units, it most certainly doesn't this time. So I realize that now, and I'm going to go for a counter charge here, and get these 2 guys stuck in. And now these barbed skirmishers can start to work their magic. And this cavalry unit is still attacking the rear of this unit that was here. He's going to start sending in some flaming shots at my men, but over here we've got a whole nother fight unfolding. There's a lot of micro at this part of the battle. And so I'm going to try to wrap these cavalry units around, realize it's too late and I need to commit this one. Accidentally spread this guy a little bit too thin, and that means he ends up getting caught and not doing what I needed him to. I wanted him to go a little bit further around. At this point it's a little bit too late for that. I know over on this flank, the micro's done over here, so now I can focus here. I see this cavalry unit coming, but I figure I'm going to lay down some hurt on the back of this formation before turning around, which I do right there, and that gets that unit to waver. That was a pretty effective charge, not too many kills, but a whole lot of morale damage. Now I'm going to bring this barbed skirmisher into a position where it can do a similar effect to what's happened over here, where this guy's picked up 49 kills on heroic cavalry and Nordic horse lords. No heroic cavalry left to show you what happened, but anyways, this guy did a real nice job, already paid for himself. I've got these 2 cav units sitting around, and this is where my micro starts to fail me. I'm not paying too much attention to them. I'm paying more attention to my infantry here, and I've got my general here in support because I see this unit wavering, and I realize this Royal Lancer is about to go down. Horribly misused this Royal Lancer. It only got 11 kills. That's absolutely unacceptable, and that's just me being still pretty new at this game. My Germanic archers haven't done nearly as much as I'd been hoping at this point in the battle. I mean, I guess it's still pretty early in the battle, but they've used a significant amount of their ammo and not gotten too many kills. Pikes are holding, which is about all you can say. I'm going to start firing into these Nordic Horse Lords because I decided I really don't give a crap about these Nordic bows at this point. I'm just going to pick up as many cav kills as I can get. These barbed skirmishers didn't get as lucky as the ones on the other side and ended up getting wrecked by archer fire before they could do too much damage. But over here I've got my 2 Germanic horse doing real well against these Nordic Horse Lords considering the situation they're in. Picked up quite a few kills, and now these barbed skirmishers are soon to come back and make an effect. I'm going to thicken this pike line just to... actually, it was probably a really stupid idea now that I think about it, because it would have made it a lot easier for him to rain fire down on me. He was trying to send this Nordic Horse Lord around me, but it looks like it got caught up. And that's really unfortunate for him, because if he'd managed that correctly, that could have made a little bit of a difference. Anyways, I eventually remember these not Nordic Horse Lords, Germanic horsemen I'd left over here, and I start microing them. But unfortunately, I blobbed them up a little bit too much, and he's going to get some nice shots in with these archers. And yet again, I forget about my cavalry. So that is... yeah, that's me struggling. That's not even struggling with Attila, that's just me being rusty at Total War in general. I'm going to get some nice back charges here, though. And these Hearthguard are real solid units, but when they get back charged by Germanic Horse, they're not going to be very happy. So my archers are going to continue to fire. I'm going to withdraw this Royal Lancer from that fight, and this one's done a little bit better than the last one, but I still horribly misused my Royal Lancers in this fight. It's only got 52 kills, and so that was a significant amount of money pretty much down the drain. And I need to work on my micro, clearly. I'm going to get a nice back charge into the general here, and this is really crunch time in the battle, because the balance bar is 50-50. I've brought a meta build and he hasn't, and somehow he's fought me to this point, so a lot of respect to him. But this is where everything matters. If my general dies, I lose. His general dies, he loses. So anyways, I've got this Germanic horse out here, 18 men. Just realized it, and I need to use it to good effect because he's got a lot of archers and I don't have a lot of cav left. So I'm going to send this guy in to this blob, and he's going to start racking up a good number of kills here. Unfortunately, this one still has a lot of ammunition and is firing in here at these 2 units of Germanic horse I have, and I'm starting to lose cav fast. He still has quite a few of his own. He's got 3 units, and he's got a very full Hearthguard unit, which has already racked up 72 kills for itself. And now this Hearthguard is coming in, and he's starting to get a surround on me in this blob. Fortunately, I finally get the general dead, and that was a big moment for me, because as you can see, this whole blob here is finally going to start to waver. And if I hadn't gotten his general, if he'd gotten mine first, then my units in this blob would have collapsed, and he could have wrapped around me here. And with an 100-man Hearthguard unit still holding me down as an anvil, if his units from here had wrapped around, that would have been a deadly hammer. Over in this part of the fight, I have my thickened pike lines holding off his Nordic Horse Lords. He probably would have been better served to cycle charge me, although I'm not sure it would have saved him at this point. Although it might have done, now that he had 2 cav units and a fairly full Hearthguard. He might have had some chance. But either way, he's going to go in for a charge at some point. I believe he's going for my general. That would be the thing that makes sense to do. But he does get a little bit caught up in my noble Germanic swords for a second. He's now out of ammo on the Nordic bows, but just to be safe, I'm going to charge him with my barbed skirmishers. I don't want them firing at me. And these thick pikes will hold back even a Hearthguard unit for a little bit of time. He's going to get a nice charge into me, and I haven't properly braced, so even though his Nordic Horse Lords are exhausted, they're going to pick up a decent amount of kills on that charge. I believe it was about 20 kills. So I need to be careful, because if that unit routs, my men still have decent morale, but that could cost them quite a few morale points. So let's just see where that is. Yeah, so General Alive is giving 4 morale, and General Nearby is giving them 8, and I believe it's a 15 morale penalty, so that could be a quick 27 morale swing if my General were to die. And that could have cost me the battle. But anyways, that doesn't happen. Managed to kill those Nordic Horse Lords and finish the battle, but I should not have won this battle, to be very realistic. He played it significantly better than I did. I made a lot of mistakes. He didn't do a whole lot wrong. Not too many missed micros on his part, whole lot of missed micros on mine. But the thing I did right was bring a meta build, and the thing he did wrong was bring the Saxons. And that's a little bit unfortunate. But either way, it was a really good game to my opponent. A lot of respect for how well he did considering the build he had. I'm very glad to see that CA has announced that there will be some big rebalancing in the future, not least of which that Germanic Horse are being downgraded to medium weight, and I believe Tagmata are losing some mass as well, and there's a lot of other changes. If you haven't seen the article, I do recommend you go check it out. It should be somewhere on the CA homepage. I'm not really sure where it is. I saw a video by THFE Oakley, kind of detailing the changes and his reaction to it. Might be a good video to watch if you go to his channel. It looks like things are going in the right direction. I do think it'll be kind of like Rome 2, where it's going to take a lot of patches to get the right meta, but it'll be interesting, assuming they can keep updating pretty often. Hopefully they can keep up with it. But anyways, as I said, really good game to my opponent. Hope you guys have enjoyed this battle. I will try to bring some more interesting builds in the future. But yeah, I will see you all next time.